Most people think intimacy dies loudly through arguments, betrayal, or the slow erosion of affection. Welcome to Emotional Shadow, but the truth is far more unsettling. Intimacy rarely dies in explosions. It dies in silence. It dies in the quiet, hidden spaces where fear grows unnoticed, shaping decisions, reactions, and unspoken emotions. We often believe that love fails because two people stop caring. But the mysterious truth no one talks about is that fear, soft disguised and perfectly rational seeming, can quietly choke the deepest connection long before anyone realizes what's happening. Fear doesn't enter relationships as a villain. But what happens when our emotional armor becomes the very thing that keeps love from reaching us? To understand the silent force fear plays in love, we have to go back far before adult relationships, before dating scripts. Psychologists like John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth laid the first clues through attachment theory, revealing that fear of abandonment or rejection is not born in adulthood but shaped in early childhood. The twist is that many people who believe they are strong, independent, or emotionally mature are often the ones carrying the deepest, most hidden fears. And when these fears are triggered inside a relationship, they don't show up as trembling weakness. They show up as distance, control, sarcasm, shutdowns, perfectionism, jealousy, or emotional withdrawal. Fear doesn't always feel like fear. I don't need anyone. Sometimes it feels like anger. Why didn't you text me back? Sometimes it feels like logic. I'm better off focusing on myself. And sometimes it feels like numbness. The calmest but deadliest form of fear. The origins of intimacy-killing fear begin with small survival strategies learned in childhood, strategies that once protected us, but now sabotage adult love. A child who learned that expressing emotions leads to being dismissed grows into an adult who shuts down before they can be hurt. A child who experienced unpredictable affection grows into an adult who becomes analyzing every text, tone, and delay. A child who only felt safe when they had control grows into an adult who confuses control with connection. These patterns rise silently, and each one begins as a response to fear, for fear is rarely loud. It whispers, "Stay safe. Don't risk. Don't depend." But connection demands the opposite. As relationships deepen, fear begins to rise subtly, not as panic, but as not sharing a worry, avoiding deeper conversations, softening the truth to avoid tension, or pretending not to care when something hurts. These small emotional compromises accumulate until they form a wall, thin at first, then thicker. The impact becomes clearer in the steady decline of honesty. Partners stop revealing their true needs because fear tells them the truth may push the other away. They stop expressing affection because fear says vulnerability can be used against them. They stop addressing conflicts because fear whispers that conflict is the beginning of the end. Over time, intimacy doesn't fall apart dramatically. It simply dries up. The breaking points arrive when fear overtakes communication entirely. One partner might interpret distance as rejection, triggering their own fears and leading to more distance. Another might try to pull closer, unknowingly activating fear-based defenses in the other person. Arguments become rehearsed. Conversations feel scripted. Simple misunderstandings turn into emotional warfare, because both individuals are fighting ghosts from the past. When partners begin to misread each other through the lens of old fears, they stop responding to the actual person in front of them. They start responding to the person they fear their partner might become. This is where the emotional fallout begins. Once fear takes hold, emotional intimacy becomes fragmented. Affection feels unsafe. Honesty feels dangerous. Dependence feels like vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like a trap. Partners begin to live parallel emotional lives, even while sharing the same space. They become careful instead of honest, polite instead of expressive, stable instead of connected. Fear convinces them this is healthier, less risky, less dramatic, more mature. But this is the silent sabotage. The very behaviors that protect the relationship from conflict also starve it of intimacy. Failed attempts to fix the problem usually involve surface-level strategies, better habits, clearer routines, improved communication techniques. But none of it penetrates the fear beneath, because fear is not resolved through logic. It is resolved through emotional safety, repetition, and vulnerability, three things fear actively resists. Modern relationship dynamics make this issue even more complex. With the rise of digital communication, many people unknowingly amplify their fears with comparison, overanalysis, and insecurity shaped by social media. Studies even show that ambiguous texting patterns, inconsistent responses, and online interpretations create a constant background anxiety that triggers old fears of rejection or misunderstanding. Patterns of manipulation also become more subtle and widespread. Ghosting, breadcrumbing, emotional withholding, mixed signals, and avoidance all serve as strategies to maintain emotional safety while keeping someone close enough to feel validated. These patterns repeat themselves because fear teaches people to stay half in, half out. It convinces them that emotional safety and emotional connection cannot coexist, when in reality, they can, but only with conscious awareness and trust. Fear also fuels communication breakdowns in predictable cycles. One partner withdraws to protect themselves. The other feels abandoned and reaches out anxiously. The withdrawal then intensifies, causing the anxious partner to push harder. This pressure then reinforces more withdrawal. What neither partner realizes is that both are acting out of fear. One fears abandonment, the other fears being overwhelmed or losing autonomy. Without understanding this hidden emotional choreography, the relationship slowly collapses from the inside. Quietly, silently, there are three essential truths that everyone must understand to protect intimacy from fear. The first truth is that fear often disguises itself as strength. When someone avoids vulnerability, sets extreme emotional boundaries, or shuts down to remain calm, they believe they are preserving the relationship. In reality, they are suffocating the emotional space needed for love to breathe. The second truth is that transparency, not perfection, is the oxygen of intimacy. Communication should not be about rehearsed answers or conflict avoidance. It should be about sharing the imperfect, uncomfortable, vulnerable truth that fear tries to hide. The third truth is that emotional safety is something couples create together, intentionally and repeatedly, not something that appears naturally. Safety is built through consistent honesty, regulated emotions, and mutual reassurance. Yet even with these truths, a deeper question remains. Can love truly survive fear? Or is fear an inevitable part of every relationship, quietly working against connection no matter how much love exists? The reality is that love and fear coexist in everyone, but only one can lead. When fear leads, love becomes conditional. When love leads, fear becomes manageable. The fragility of trust and love lies in how easy it is for fear to take over without anyone noticing. That is why awareness matters. That is why understanding the hidden workings of fear is essential for anyone who wants lasting love. If you found this exploration eye-opening, then you're already ahead of most people who never question the silent forces shaping their relationships. For more deep, psychological insights about love, connection, and the hidden patterns we rarely see, make sure you explore the channel, join the community, and stay connected for more content that helps you understand yourself and your relationships on a deeper level.